Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. I am in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So first of all, I want to thank everybody who is following me, who is interacting with me by commenting, by liking my videos, and by sharing my videos. I am very, very thankful to all of you. At the moment, there is nobody online yet, but once you go online, I will thank you once again. Today's topic is about South Africa again, because there is a very big racial division going on in South Africa at the moment. It is something that I have not seen this bad, not even during the apartheid. So I grew up during the apartheid, and I can tell you now that even during the apartheid, it did not look as bad as this. But that could be because there was no internet. So people were not this free to just say what they want to say publicly. And also because in South Africa, there was no freedom of speech. So nobody dared be so blatantly racist, especially not non-whites. The whites could be as racist as they wanted to be, but the non-whites could not be. But now I am noticing on social media, because I have an X account, I have a YouTube account, and I have a TikTok account, I have been observing so much racial tension. So I'm going to start to discuss why this racial tension is brewing. So what is happening in South Africa is that we have race-based laws. And as all the white people would like to remind us all the time, we have 142 race-based laws in South Africa. And these race-based laws is to redress injustices from the past. So these are affirmative action race-based laws. And these affirmative action race-based laws is to bring, what, swipe right to view more comment. Okay, I'm not swiping right. Okay, is to, like I said, redress past injustices. And these injustices were committed against people who are now called the previously disadvantaged, the PDI. Okay, so when you hear me say PDI, I'm talking about the previously disadvantaged person. Now, the previously disadvantaged people from the apartheid era were blacks, Indians, and coloreds. They were very disadvantaged. And now when the new government took over, to rectify what happened and to bring everybody, because during the apartheid, the PDIs were oppressed, so they could not rise. The whites were going up and up, but they could not. So they're trying to bring a balance where the PDIs can come up to the level of the white people. Hi. So the white people are not happy. They have decided that these race-based laws are it discriminates against them. They are victims of racial inequality, and so they need to do something about it. Now, usually in a democracy, when there is an issue, let's say like in this case, when there's a issue, a group of people have an issue, or like a community have an issue, because it's a democracy, what happens is this group of people, they'll have an organization, and then this organization will take this issue to their member of parliament, because everybody has a member of parliament that is represented in the parliament. So they would normally take it up to this member of parliament, and this member is normally affiliated to a political party. So in South Africa, we do have these organizations. So the white people have this organization, these two, called Afriforum and Solidariteit. So Solidariteit means solidarity. Okay, the Afrikaans word is Solidariteit. So the white people, they do have these two organizations that can represent them, that they can go complain to. Now, these two organizations are NGOs. They are not political parties. But so, in a democracy, then what would happen is, once the white people go to these two organizations, this organization must then go to their parliament member. Now, in South Africa, there are many predominantly white political parties that only cater for white people. So some of them are dominantly white parties. Some, like the DA, is predominantly white. So they have a lot of options to go to. But what happened is, these two NGO groups, Afriforum and Solidariteit, they did not go to their member of parliament. No, they skipped that. They flew to the USA, went to the White House, and then went to go tattletale to the White House. Oh, there are 142 race-based laws in South Africa. We are being discriminated against. Because of these laws, we are suffering. We are now victims of racial discrimination. Not mentioning that these laws are implemented to redress past injustices, which was caused by them and their families and their ancestors. Why I say them? Because they are still alive. Because the people, if you are Gen X and a baby boomer, you are still alive. So you were guilty of oppressing non-white people and of putting a whole race-based system called the apartheid onto the non-white people. That's what you did. Gen X white people and baby boomer white people. All the other people, your mothers, fathers, and your grandparents and great-grandparents, and before, right up to 1652, they did this. They implemented a system that oppressed non-white people. Okay? So this is what these people went to do. They went to complain about the race-based laws. Then, of course, now what happened? It caused a big hoo-ha, because everybody knows President Donald Trump is very sensitive. Because when they went to complain to him about this, he then took it upon himself, him and the USA. When I say President Donald Trump, I don't just mean him, I mean his whole administration. They took it upon themselves to then take action against the South African government. Which to me is a bit weird, because I am not an expert in politics, even in geopolitics, and I'm not in parliament, and I'm none of these things, but I know how law works and how a democracy works. So I'm very confused on why the Trump administration didn't look at these people and say to them, okay, did your member take this issue to Parliament? Because if they had asked that, then the next question would be, who was the members who took the issue to Parliament? And then, the members will be mentioned, whether it's the DA party or whatever, I don't know, all the other white parties would be someone. So, and then that would, and then the Trump administration can go and ask those people, what are these laws about? And then those people will probably say, well, these laws are implemented because they are redressing past injustices. All this didn't happen. Just, this is bad. Bad things are happening in South Africa. We must punish South Africa. Okay, so the Trump administration decided to do 3 things to South Africa. Number 1 is to stop USAID funding, which is actually a good thing because, like I said in my other video, South Africa should stand on their own feet. They don't need USAID funding. And if you look at the funding, it's mainly for AIDS research and HIV medication. So the HIV medication, I'm sure South Africa can find the money for the drugs. The research, AIDS research, this is not a good thing because, when it's research, guinea pigs are involved. So who are the guinea pigs? The South African people, right? So for me, I'm very happy that came to an end. Hi, I'm very happy that brakes were put onto that, the AIDS research. Because I don't feel it's right that they should be using our people as guinea pigs. My government who allowed this, I'm happy that President Trump said no more. I'm very happy. Because my government should take care of their own people and they should stop experimenting on our people. Now, was this really a punishment? No. Because if you look at the USAID's funding programs, it has been stopped in most countries in the world. So it's not like South Africa was targeted. No, they stopped everybody's. Right? So you can't say President Trump is just targeting South Africa. The second thing is, it has not happened yet, but there's talk that he will stop the AGOA project. Now, I don't know much about this project. Actually, I know very little. I think it's something to do with agriculture. So people are very worried about this. And the people who are worried about this are actually the same people who went to go and complain about the discrimination laws. Because white people, they are mainly the Afrikaners, they are mainly in the agricultural business. They have farms. So this will affect them, right? So suddenly oh no, we went to complain about what is happening to us, and now the punishment is actually going to punish us. But it will actually punish all South Africans because they produce, the South Africans eat it, they consume it. So, but it's not that bad for the consumers because I'm sure our government will subsidize, but it's bad for them because their profits are going to go down. So I think this is what made them suddenly very worried about this AGOA problem. Well, so far, the Trump administration has not stopped that yet. I think it's still under negotiation. But again, it's not really a direct target of South Africa because the AGOA program also involves other countries, and it will also be stopped to these other countries, so, and those other countries, they've actually done nothing, so, but they're also not going to get it, so, I can't say that it's an exact punishment, okay? But we also know that, the third thing that the Trump admin has also decided a way to punish South Africa is by offering these Afrikaners who are being oppressed and discriminated against by our government, is to offer them refugee status in the USA. which I think is a very honorable thing that President Trump did. These people came to him. They have a problem. They say we are being discriminated against. Our lives are miserable. We cannot live. We are being killed. There's genocide, which that's misinformation. It has already been debunked by the exact organization, the organization that went there to complain. They also debunked it. They said, no, there's no white genocide. It's just that a lot of white farmers are getting killed and the government is not doing anything about it. Okay, so if this is happening, President Trump said, I open my arms to you, all South Africans of European descent. So there's a distinction there that he made. There's European, South Africans of European descent, and then there's the others, like of African descent, of Indian descent. Okay, so those people are not, of Malay descent, okay? Malaya, because those days Malaysia was Malaya descent. Those are not mentioned. Only the African, the South Africans of European descent. So this is an honorable thing he did. He's giving these people refuge. Come to my country. You will be safe here. We welcome you with open arms. Come. Which is, like I said, it's honorable because these people are of Dutch descent. I did not hear the Netherlands coming to their rescue, and they did not even run to the Netherlands to complain. I mean, they should, because that is their homeland. The Netherlands is their homeland. They didn't run to their homeland to complain. They went to run to a strange land, to a Native American land, to go and complain about the issue. And the Netherlands government is very quiet, not saying anything to them at all, not helping them, not doing anything. Okay, now it's okay. Not doing anything to help these people. The Netherlands is like, see no evil, hear no evil, talk no evil. Like they don't know these people. Okay, so fair and square now. Okay. So to us non-whites in South Africa, we were like, yeah, maybe we understand they don't like to be discriminated against, because we understand it. We were being discriminated against since 1948 until 1994, and ours was 100%, 1000% worse than this, because this is just an affirmative action. Ours was every aspect of our lives we were discriminated against. We were even classed as second and third class citizens. We had no voting rights. So we couldn't even participate in politics. We couldn't participate in the economy because the economy was set up in such a way that non-whites could only do certain types of jobs, which was mainly skilled, unskilled and skilled labor. We were just okay for those. Management jobs was very rare, very rare. It was almost non-existent. Some of us did get management jobs, but that's just because the company you were working for was probably a foreign company, and they, maybe in the books, they don't put you down as management level, they put something else, but you will be working. That happened to my mother and my brother. My mother and brother, they worked at management top positions, but because they worked for companies who on the book put them down as executive level, even lower than that, but when they were working, they were doing the top level job and they were earning that top level salary. But like I say again, that was because they worked for those kind of companies that were anti the apartheid. So they were willing to bend the rules. But across the board, top management and above jobs were only for the white people. Of course, you could have your own business. And what you did in your own business was up to you. I mean, you could be the CEO, because it's your own business. But just in the general population, this was not going to happen. Same with education. The system was set up in such a way that non-white people, you could only work yourself up to a certain level, which was like to be a laborer. To To go further, it was only allowed to coloureds and Indians, because we are such a minority that it didn't even matter. We were allowed to go to higher positions, like in higher education, and to not just stay at a skilled labourer like education, but we could become doctors and nurses. But the thing is, you could become all these things, but there's no job for you, because those jobs are only for white people. You could be a doctor maybe in a black hospital or in a colored non-white hospital, but then there were like only a few non-white hospitals. Okay, so it was, the system was just rigged. It was set up for non-whites to fail. That is how it was set up, and for non-whites to stay like down. You could not rise. Okay. So why am I talking about this? What point am I getting to? Okay. Yeah, so when these people, they went to the US, and then they got Donald Trump to say, okay, you people can come to the country. And already the people in South Africa, I started noticing it online, okay? Suddenly the conversation started becoming racial, because you get the black people digging into the white people about past atrocities that they committed, well, even if it's not them, but their ancestors. And then you had the white people talking about being racist, like without us you would be nothing, and like just having this superiority complex thing going on. You only are what you are because of us white people, and we have the right here because we built everything, and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so I started noticing it's just back and forth, and it just started getting uglier and uglier. And it got ugly because I could see even our celebrities were starting to fight amongst each other, which is something they never did. Never. Because talent is talent, especially those who are, like, if you're an athlete or in the arts and entertainment, they started fighting with each other. Okay, yeah, so this I noticed was becoming a bit of a problem. And so essentially this Afriforum and Solidarity, this group that went to the US, they are actually responsible for starting this racial tension and this divide, because now you could see people were starting to take sides. All the white people were going this way and still going that way, and all the non-whites are going this way, which is very interesting, because before, our biggest issue was our actual government, not the one we have now, the one we had in the past. So the one we had now is new, so we can't talk much about them, but the old one, the ANC, there was always this thing, okay, the ANC have the majority vote, but even there was always this thing that when it comes to the ANC, although you vote for them, you don't vote for them, but there was always this consensus, general consensus, that but what they are doing for the country is not good enough, because they are corrupt, they are incompetent, all this kind of stuff. On that, there was like a general consensus. Although they didn't vote, they voted. Even the ones who voted would still agree with this. Only reason people still vote for ANC is because, let's be real, they are the only party in South Africa that can actually rule the country. Let's be real. Let's not beat about the bush. None of the others can. Sorry, maybe you don't like me saying that, but that is the truth. Okay? But like I say, there was always this general consensus that they're bad, incompetent, corrupt, useless. This everybody's on par with that. But suddenly now, with what is happening, I'm seeing the white people are now pro-USA. No, I did see this with Ukraine, Russia as well. It actually started there already when South Africa refused to condemn Russia. We decided to stay neutral. So already the whites were going Ukraine and the non-whites were going this way. Not necessarily siding with Russia, but moving away from Ukraine, because non-whites don't want to be associated with Ukraine, because Ukraine, neo-Nazis. With our history, we are totally anti-neo-Nazis. And then also with our history, I can understand why the white people would gravitate towards neo-Nazism. Again, whether you like it or not, white people, that's what you're about, isn't it? That's what you're about. How many years already? And I mean, when the majority of the country is moving away from Ukraine, why would you be moving towards them? Because you like their ideology. We don't. We went that way. Okay, same with Israel and Palestine. Again, it's a white and a brown thing. So the non-whites will be going pro-Palestine. The whites will be going pro-Israel. But even the Ukraine and Israel and Palestine, Russia thing did not create as much tension as what is going on now. Now it is, oh my goodness, it's so bad that it's actually scary. And I know it's scary because I now see activists from back during the apartheid that retired from activism. They have come back. They are all coming back because they know the tensions are rising and this is a problem. They can see where it's heading. Okay, so what is happening is the white South Africans are pro-USA, pro-MAGA, pro-President Trump, pro-President Trump's admin, just pro-USA, cannot say anything bad about the USA. The non-whites who were always split because there's the ANC supporters and there's the totally anti-ANC, like all blah supporters, they have come together, which is weird and a miracle. Who knew that it would take something like this for the non-whites to put aside what they think about the ANC and to actually focus on what Afriforum did, which was an undemocratic move. They undermined our presidency by going to the US. Non-whites are standing in unity against the white people of South Africa, because the white people are standing with USA, the non-whites are standing with South Africa. At the end of the day, for the non-whites, it doesn't matter how much we hate the ruling government, how much we hate what's going on with how they've neglected the country and raped and pillaged and whatever. Well, regardless of that, we are still pro-South Africa. When push comes to shove, we stand with South Africa. The white people? No. They want to live in South Africa, but they don't want to stand with South Africa. Okay, so this is where the big divide comes in. And why also this is happening is because the white South Africans, although they want to be in South Africa, and how I know this is because even with Trump's offer, generous offer, I mean, this is a generous offer, because why he's giving this offer, you all know, he is kicking out all the illegal immigrants and other immigrants. He's kicking them out. He's got a lot of people that have applied for refugee status. He's putting them at the back and putting the South African Afrikaners in front. They have first preference. Even though he has done this, he has made this general offer. You know what the Afrikaners said? They said, "Futsa! We don't want it. We don't want your refugee status. Take your refugee status. What we want is we want to remain in South Africa, and we want you, USA, to intervene in South Africa. We need you to take our government and cut them down, get rid of them, and install a government that we want so that we can have our old apartheid life back, where we are ruling the country and the non-white people are again oppressed. You, USA, must do it for us." That's basically what they're saying. Okay, that's my own words and my interpretation of it, but that's what it looks like. It looks like that. That's what they want. Because the Afrikaners, this is a known fact. There's no reason to get upset, get your panties in a knot. Oh, listen what she said, it's racist. It's not racist. It's just something that every South African has always known. Whether they are a white English-speaking South African, a white French, a white Greek, Italian, Portuguese, because those are where most of our white people come from. Even they will tell you, they know. That's why we had the apartheid. The Afrikaners are the type of people who don't want to assimilate. They only want to stay with their own kind, speaking their own language, observing only their own culture, their own customs. They want to be insulated. They don't want to mix with other people, not even with other white people. They have always been like that. Even, like I say, other white people who are not Afrikaners will tell you the same thing. They refuse to assimilate. They refuse to integrate. That is why my stupid government actually gave them, well, it's their land, which is again another video for another day, but they have this space where they built an entire Afrikaner town. It is a whites-only town. You must be a white person who observes Afrikaner culture and speak Afrikaans to live there. Of course, give it to the Boere. They are very hardworking, very efficient, very effective in what they do. Town is running smoothly. It's like a utopia. It's a utopia. And of course, it's a utopia. Hi, the person who joined. It's a utopia because it's a small population. You know, it's what's the word? Homogeneous. Because everyone's same color, same race, same ethnicity, same culture, same religion, same customs, same traditions. It's just the same people. They even all look the same. Blonde hair, blue eyes. They always look like that. Very good looking people, I must admit. And in my days, I liked a Boerseun. I was very into the Boerseuns. Very. Okay, but that's the past. Okay, anyway, yeah. So this is how they want to operate. That is why they have an issue with the race-based laws to begin with, because first of all, they don't want to acknowledge that what was done in the past and that it has to be redressed. It has to be. You cannot do things and then just look at the Holocaust, what the Holocaust survivors. To date, if they can find someone who was a general or something during the Holocaust, or a doctor or scientist, they will hunt that person down and take him to court. To date, Vengeance. They were on a vendetta, finding every Nazi that they could that was responsible for what happened. But when it comes to us, no. No. We must forget because, it happened long time ago, 30 years ago. Long time ago. Nobody will remember. I'm alive. I lived it. Of course I remember. I'm 61. I remember. Okay? Get over it. It wasn't a big deal. What is happening to us now is worse. So that is like I tell you, I think it is things like that is also causing this big divide, because the fact that the white people don't realize what apartheid was really about. So when you say to a non-white person, you must forget about it, it's in the past, it's not as bad as what's going on now, I think that's where things really go off the rails. I think that's when, and this is the reason why the non-whites are all going in that direction. And to be honest with you, I am very concerned about where this is going. Very concerned. Extremely concerned. And like I say, I'm not the only one, because I have now seen activists from, especially the ones who were who wanted a non-violent struggle, so who were very busy with because I was a youth teenager during the 1980 struggles, the 1980 boycotts and stuff like that. They were these activists. They were the ones who were but they were instilling in us this. They were inspiring us to take our lives in our own hands, to do something about attaining this freedom, but do it in a non-violent way, because they could see where it was heading that time. It was going to be a civil war if things were not going to work out right, because the tensions that time was that high. And now when I see these activists coming out again and suddenly talking about things, having that same rhetoric about, a selfless revolution, reimagining the revolution, things like that. I'm not going to mention names of these activists, but just for me personally, when I see them coming out talking like this, I just have this feeling that they know if they don't come in and talk like this and get things to simmer down, it's not going to turn out well. It is just not going to. So, okay, I think I'll mention names. So, because I watched the launch of the Adv Sikhakane's book, Liberation, something about liberation. Oh, sorry, I can't think the name of the book. But anyway, I watched this event, and the people who were at the event were people from all different parties. Now, you must know, these are people that were in one party before, and there was some squabbles there, and then they moved to another party. So they're all in the same room. And he even joked about it. They had to seat them in different areas because a lot of them were enemies, opposition, and they were all in the same room, because this is how much respect they have for Adv Sikhakane. They were there. But they were also there because they know we're at a time in South Africa where it's crucial for all these party leaders, irrespective of what they feel about each other. They were all there. They just avoided eye contact, I could see. They were there. And one of the speakers was Rev Allan Boesak. Oh, such a powerful speech. You have to watch this whole book launch. It's on SMWX. Look for, just type in book launch Sikhakane or Rev Allan Boesak. You have to watch it. It is the speech of Rev Allan Boesak is powerful. The whole event, Adv Sikhakane, his book, just everything, the whole event was powerful, especially when you see all these, like I say, enemies sitting together in one room because of one vision. They didn't care anymore about I'm this. No. They were there, one cause, one vision, because I think they all know. They can see what's happening. Let me tell you how many white party leaders were there or party representatives were there. 0. Now, were they not there because they were not invited? Maybe. Or were they just not there because they don't have interest? Maybe. That one I really don't know. So I can't say. But I feel white people, you must please go and listen to the speakers at this launch, this book launch, the book launch of Adv Sikhakane. Okay, go and watch it. You go to SMWX, to their podcast, their channel on YouTube. It will be there. Watch the thing in its entirety. They do have clips, but watch the entire event so that you can see who was there, what was the body language, what was being said by all these different people that were there. Because all of them had, well, some of them had a chance to say there a little bit. And because I don't know if white people have these kind of events where they don't talk just about what is good for the white people, where they talk about what is good for all South Africans, for all the people in South Africa. Because this is what was happening in this event. Every time they spoke, it was about South Africa, the country, and South Africa, the nation. It was not the white people and the Tswana people and the Zulu people and the colored people and the Cape Malays and the Indians and the Chinese. It was nothing like that. It was the South African people. Because what I've noticed, Afriforum went all the way there to the US and kept saying, but we are here to represent all of South Africa. Jy praat lekker nonsense, lekker gemors. You're talking rubbish. Because you did not speak for me. I'm not an Afrikaner. You went there to specifically talk about the race-based laws, which are laws that benefit me as a PDI. And you want to take it away from me. Which is a strange thing. I shouldn't be saying that, because as a colored, let's also be real. We are on paper in the law as PDIs, but in reality, nope. We don't get any of those benefits. Which again, I think coloreds and Indians probably don't talk much about it, because we are used to being left out of all these tiffs between black and white people in South Africa. And also we do realize and understand the black people during apartheid had it way worse than we did, and they are a majority, and they are way worse now, even now than us. So we kind of, we understand. Logic. Do you think the white people get this? No. I'm sorry you don't. Because if you did, you would not behave like this. You would understand why the majority would want the past injustices to be redressed. you would also understand what your ancestors did and what some of you did because you are still alive. You would understand that. But somehow, and this is because the system has made you like that. It has told you for decades that you are superior. You are a superior being. You are more superior than every other creature that walks the face of the earth. So, I mean, in a way, I can't blame you for having this kind of attitude because that is what you were taught. And I know this because the apartheid government, in their stupidity, what happened is when we were kept so segregated, so most of the white people who were staying in rural areas, the only contact they had with non-whites was with their laborers, which they didn't talk to. They would talk like just give orders and talk like you talk to a dog. It was not like you're talking to a human being. You don't sit down and have chats and what do you feel about this? There's no such thing. It's just do this, do this, do this, you know? Okay. And same with a lot of colored people and Indian people. I don't know about the blacks because we all had different rules. Okay, my upbringing was a bit different, but I was still segregated, but I was lucky I could move around amongst different races. Okay? Coloreds were a bit lucky in this sense. Coloreds and Indians, because we're neither black nor white. We're too white to be black and too black to be white, so we could like, okay, right. But anyway, what happened is what the government didn't realize, they were keeping us segregated like this, segregated areas, segregated homes, streets, education was separate, just everything was shopping, lanes, things like that, all of that was separate, all kept separate. So some white people never actually left their town. They only know that. And then we need to go to university. So what happened is a lot of the liberal universities like UCT, the one I went to, what they did was they had this thing where I think because most of their curriculum and syllabi came from the respective countries, like maybe from Britain or France or whatever. And then those countries said, if you don't allow non-whites into this program that we are giving you, then we're not giving you the program. So of course they had no choice. But then what they did is they had a quota for how many non-whites could like be in that program. And if you're non-white, you had to have a permit. Hi, thanks for joining. You had to have a permit. Like me, when I went to UCT, I had to have a permit to go to this white university. Okay? And what they forgot will happen is that when we come to the university, so this would maybe be the first time, well, not in my case, but I'm just giving an example. Like maybe it's the first time that someone like me, a non-white person, is now put in a situation with white people. This has never happened. So I don't know what they think. I just know of what I see on TV, and I've never like really had conversation with them. Example, not me, because people don't come and say, oh, she's lying, because I was her friend and I'm white. Yeah, I'm just giving an example. And then you get this other Boer Afrikaner who's been in his village, doesn't know anything either, and then suddenly he has to come here, or she, and then suddenly now you have to sit in the same class with a non-white person. So at first it's strange, but what happens is, when you are learning things, color drops, right? Because all that matters is the topic that the subject you are studying, because it's abstract, there's no color. And then you have to interact with each other about the subject, and then you are so engrossed in the subject that you are not seeing each other as different color. You're just seeing each other as two students in the chemical engineering class, example. That's all you see. So you talk about chemical engineering, change ideas, Okay, let's hang out at the park in the afternoon. We go through it because we cannot hang out together at the cafe because non-whites are not allowed at the cafe. So anyway, we go hang out at the park although I'll sit on this bench which says Non-whites only, you sit on that bench which says whites only, and then we do our homework like that. Or we sit on the grass, because on the grass everybody can sit together, but we don't sit too close because, we might get arrested. But it doesn't matter. As long as we're on campus grounds, it's fine. And we used to love to sit at the Rhodes statue, which is weird because now the Rhodes statue is not there anymore. Part of my history has been destroyed by this new woke black people. But anyway, that's another story for another day. So then this is what happened. Whites and non-whites had to start intermingling. And then you start to see he's white, but he's actually very stupid. Because I keep having to explain to him, about chemical engineering. I'm just giving an example. I didn't study chemical engineering. And then he's also like, she's very clever, She knows so much about these things. And then you start to see, hey, everything that our government has been telling us about white people and what the government has been telling the white people about non-white people, it's not true. They're just like me. We are the same. We have the same aspirations, the same interests. We like things, we don't like things. We're just the same human being. And then also what then happens is then we start to learn what the whites have been told about us, and they learn what we were told about them. And then it's like some of the things are very funny. Like example, I remember that a lot of non-whites thought white people don't fart. So some things were very stupid. It's like you laugh. And then the white people again were told that non-white people, they don't know about brushing their teeth and about hygiene. They don't know how to take baths. That's why when they have workers, they have to teach them to do these things. So of course some things were very silly, but then some things were heartbreaking, painful, because we are human beings. Anyway. And then also what happened, like in my case many times, is that, like I said before, the Boerseun means the white boy. When he first flicks his blonde hair like that and his little blue eyes with the thick eyelashes which are dark at from the roots, and then the tips are all blonde. And when the sun shines on his hair, it's all like blonde. I like a lot. And then he looks at me, this woman, with the high cheekbones, with this kind of hair texture, but that color skin. Oh, exotic. And then we don't even see each other as other. We like. I like, you like. You're hot, because that's life. Okay? Yeah, so that is how, I don't know why I'm telling you the story, but anyway, that is the story of how things were in those days. Now everybody can mix around freely. It doesn't matter. In our days, it wasn't. It was illegal. Like, I was caught twice and arrested twice for the Immorality Act. Immorality Act is an act where white and non-white cannot be in a relationship. You cannot love each other, or even just be in a relationship, or even close proximity, things like that, okay? There used to be this joke where, remember the phone booths in the old days? I remember my father telling us this joke when he said, we had a special force in our traffic department. They call the flying squad, because you just call, they're there. So the flying squad. And so what happened is, my father used to say, well, it was a joke in South Africa, put a white man and a black woman in a phone booth, and then call the flying squad to tell them there's a black man and a white man and a black woman in a phone booth having sex, and then see who comes first. That was the joke. Okay, a bit raunchy. We're getting a bit raunchy here, but that's the joke. Okay? Right. I'm almost done. Wow, this is going on for a long time. Huh? Okay, so basically, what I want to say about all this racial tension that's going on, yep, it seems to be heading into a very, very, very dangerous direction. And I think if it doesn't get curbed in the butt very quickly, in the bud, sorry, very quickly, it's not going to go down well. It doesn't help that I see a lot of podcasters, white podcasters, sorry, but it's you guys that are like pushing this agenda, this very anti-South African government agenda. Okay, I see you doing that. So I have to hurry up. Oh, inactivity. Okay, so anyway, so you have to be careful. Oh, what is going on? You have to drag this here and then. Oh, I have to verify. Yeah, sorry, I don't know. It says a lot of inactivity, maybe because there's no one here already, because this has been going on for too long. Okay, anyway. So this is what's happening. We have to nip that in the bud. And I think, just me, my personal opinion is that I think the Truth and Reconciliation Committee, the TRC, was probably not the way to go, because I can see that people, non-white people, cannot forgive the past. And the reason they cannot forgive it is because the white people have not learned to accept that what was done was very wrong and that it has to be redressed, because they are fighting this redress at the moment. So they've not learned, white people have not learned that, and non-whites have not learned to forgive. So maybe the TRC way of doing things was not the way to go. So anyway, this has gone on for too long. Have a good day. Cheers.